Rabbit Hole Roundup, episode 82. Girls Can Dunk 2, the Roger Bannister effect. So guys, in today's edition of the Rabbit Hole Roundup, I'm going to be talking about an interesting phenomenon that I've been seeing on social media recently, which is that a bunch of girls are suddenly dunking a basketball. Now, why does this matter? Because it's a reminder that so many of our limits are either man-made or self-imposed.
The limit does not exist.
I also talk about some NBA news and trades and players who are on the move. And the three teams who I'm going to be focusing on today are going to be the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Trailblazers. What are these teams' ceilings? And are any of them actually building something special? Moving ahead, I have a clip on why it might be more important to surround yourself with people who take good care of themselves as opposed to just surrounding yourselves with successful people. I have an interesting clip from NFL player Cliff Avril on the mindset that it takes to stay positive and stay confident even when things don't go right on the football field or in life. I have a clip with a very interesting perspective on how the villain and the superhero so often have very similar stories, but what changed was how they chose to respond to their circumstances.
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
And to finish things off, I have an inspiring story coming from super famous NBA trainer Chris Brickley on how he went from homeless to huge success, who now trains all the top players in the world. Anyways, without further ado, let's dive deeper now. Rabbit hole time, let's go.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know that, miss me not subscribe to the channel so you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on the video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through by Jared Weiss. All links purchased on my website, which is jaredryanweiss.com. That's JAREDRYANWEISS.com. Buy the book, support me, and also make sure to check out all the awesome shirts on that website as well. Every shirt is 100% organic content. Every shirt is its own motivational saying, so it's words in it. So what could be better than all that? Anyways, as always, any support at all is very much appreciated. So let's dive deeper into this rabbit hole now. So to start things off, I want to share some NBA talk coming from recent weeks, whether it's trades or players who are on the move, and teams who might be building something special. Because we've seen some teams out there that seem to be shifting their whole culture and making some big moves.
Go big or go home.
So the first team that's been a hot topic recently has been the LA Clippers. The Clippers recently added Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, Brook Lopez, and John Collins. However, they also lost last year's All-Star Norman Powell. Now this is definitely an interesting mix, especially because today's NBA, so many teams are trying to get younger and younger. So while every other team is building in the opposite direction, the Clippers have no problem building around the vets. But I'm honestly not opposed to this. I was recently saying how the Warriors should do this by trying to trade for LeBron James. However, I'm still not sure what the Clippers' ceiling is as a team. Are they championship contenders? Or is this a team who would have been contenders 10 years ago?
Old school like the old school.
I do think James Harden is still playing at a high level. You never know how many games you're going to get out of Kawhi Leonard, of course. I still do think CP3 can contribute in the minutes he's given. Bradley Beal, it may have just been a bad fit in Phoenix, but that remains to be seen. They also have rising star center Ivica Zubac, and a high-quality backup center in Brook Lopez. And then you add on to that Bogdan Bogdanovic, a great shooter, Chris Dunn, a really good on-ball defender, Derrick Jones Jr., a super athlete, and a really solid veteran in Nicholas Batum. And so you definitely have a ton of depth and a ton of shooting on that team. I guess the main question is going to be, does this team lack athleticism to compete in today's NBA? And could this be the whole Karl Malone, Gary Payton Lakers team, where great old players come together but doesn't really work out the way that so many people had hoped? We'll see. Next up, we also that Damian Lillard is back in Portland, and I happen to love this move just because it feels right and it feels authentic.
And it just feels like the perfect situation at the perfect time, so I'm just happy to be back.
He loves representing that team and representing the whole city, and so this feels like he's back where he belongs. Of course, he won't be playing this upcoming year due to his Achilles injury, but I do think the Blazers actually could be building something special, and they may even be able to make some noise in the West, whether it's this year or next year. They do have a bunch of really good young pieces between Denny Avdia, who finished last year at an all-star level. They also drafted Young Henson, who's a super intriguing player who's starting to look like a young Asian Jokic in the Summer League. They also have Scoot Henderson, another solid center in Donovan Klingon, a super athletic forward in Shaedon Sharpe, a solid scorer in Jeremy Grant. We'll see whether or not Drew Holiday stays with the team or if he gets traded again. But the Blazers actually finished off last season at a very competitive level. So add on to that team some new pieces, and they can definitely make things interesting. And finally, my favorite team at the moment, the Los Angeles Lakers. just added on Marcus Smart to that team, an elite defender and at times a really good offensive player too. However, I heard Colin Cowherd, or it may be Nick Wright who said this a few days ago, that I definitely agree with, which is that Marcus Smart is actually an old 31, because of course his playstyle puts a ton of wear and tear on his body, and a ton of mileage on his body too. Now I do like Smart a lot, but I'm not sure where he's at right now, and if we're going to be getting the Marcus Smart who is a beast on the Celtics, or rather a bootleg version. And I'm still not sold on the Lakers' depth as of right now. I definitely think it's a good team, and if Luka manages to stay in shape for the whole season, can it be a great team? Maybe. I'm just still disappointed and bitter when it came to the whole showing in the playoffs last year. But having said that, the Lakers in the regular season actually looked really great, and they also got their center missing piece in DeAndre Ayton, and they even hope that Bronny James can contribute some valuable minutes this year. But we'll see. Let me know your thoughts on any of those teams down below now. Next up, sticking with the basketball topic, but on the other side of things, I came across an interesting clip and have been seeing all over my social media feed tons of girls who've been dunking suddenly. In particular, I saw this one clip of a 17-year-old girl throwing down a vicious dunk. So what's going on here? Let's watch together.
We're seeing the Roger Bannister effect in real time, and most people don't even realize. It's what happens when one person does something people thought was impossible, like break a 4-minute mile, and suddenly everybody starts doing it too. Last month at the dunk camp, 3 women entered the 8-foot dunk contest, and they all had something pretty unique about them. First up is Palace. She's 6'2", a pro hooper, and she can touch 10 feet 8 inches. That means, yes, she can dunk on a 10-foot hoop. Next up is Brooke. She's 17 and only 5'9", yet she's casually grabbing rim. At that height and that age, that is wildly rare. Brooke hit a number of cool dunks, but what really surprised me, the wind that she hit. Go ahead and try it on literally any rim height. Next up is Victoria. She is 5'6" and has a 38-inch max vertical. She has a background in track and field, so she's no stranger to jumping. You can just see how casually she gets up on these jumps. It's ridiculous. Palace took the win in the end, but this is the start of something. The Bannister effect is real. Now that young women see it's possible to dunk and dunk creatively, I don't think we're far from seeing women hit windmills, East Bays, and way more. But let me know what you guys think.
Dang, women are definitely evolving, and I totally agree with this being the whole Roger Bannister effect. So many of our limits are actually self-imposed. We don't know what we're capable of, but yet so many of us allow others to tell us what we can and can't do. It's oh, this person said to me this is impossible for me? Okay, I'm just gonna accept that. But my mindset has always been, how do you know what I'm capable of? Has anyone else exactly like me ever come into this world?
Oh, hell no.
So, what are you basing it on? You're trying to box me in to be just like everyone else, when the truth is, I'm not, and I'm far from everyone else. And perfect example here. So many of us have heard for so long girls can't dunk.
Sandy's a girl?
Because girls can't jump as high, girls aren't able to build as much muscle, so therefore girls can't have as much explosive power. And yes, all those things might be true, and all those things might make it harder for them to do it, but harder doesn't mean impossible. All it takes is for one person to be the exception to the rule, and then what happens? Numerous others follow. Just like how this guy was just saying, how they used to think a 4-minute mile was impossible to break. But as soon as one person broke it, many others followed suit. So one girl dunks, everyone follows. Because now that invisible ceiling has been broken. So don't let anyone else place limits on what you can achieve, because you won't know if you never try. Next up, I have a clip with an interesting perspective. When it comes to the best type of people you should be surrounding yourself with, it's not what you think.
What's more important than surrounding yourself with successful people? It's surrounding yourself with people who take really good care of themselves. You are a product of the people that you spend the most time around. You internalize how they feel, what they think and believe subconsciously. And so surrounding yourself with people who take really good care of themselves is the best way that you can set yourself up for success.
Now, I find this perspective to hold a ton of truth, because when someone takes good care of themselves, you basically know how they're going to react whenever things go wrong. Anyone can be nice and kind whenever everything is perfect, whenever everything is going great. But if this person doesn't take care of themselves, and doesn't take care of their body, mind, and spirit, how do you think they're going to treat you in the long run? And of course this isn't a hard and fast rule. I mean, to be honest, some of the kindest, sweetest people I've ever known are either overweight or are too giving of themselves when they don't actually give back to themselves. However, it's as I often say, how can you expect others to love you when you don't love yourself? And how can you give the best from an empty cup? So this is why I've noticed, and once again this is just my own experience, but a lot of the people who I've encountered, who may seem oh, this could be a good friend at first, but it's so often the ones who don't take care of themselves, who end up being super negative and super toxic, because eventually all that negative energy has to go somewhere. So if this person doesn't treat themselves right, then they might be more likely to not be authentic, or to change who they are just because society wants them to, because this person isn't fully grounded in who they are. The most valuable people and friends are those who are comfortable in their own skin.
I'm not changing. I like me.
And who are truly themselves and who love themselves, because they worked in this and cultivated it, took the time to get to know themselves, and took care of who they were, and these principles will define them, as opposed to being someone who changes the instant like something doesn't go right. So definitely be very wary of the people in your life who don't take good care of themselves, because oftentimes this is going to reflect back onto you. Next, we have a clip coming from NFL player Cliff Avril on how to stay positive and confident even when things aren't going your way.
How do you stay positive when things just ain't going your way? Check it out.
If you jump off sides, do you not play the next snap? If you drop a pass, do you not try to catch the next one? Same concept. When things aren't going your way, you still want to put your best foot forward the next day to go try to accomplish what it is that you have to accomplish. Anything that's easy is probably, not worth having. Like, the most disciplined people tend to have the most success because they won't waver. They're going to stick to their guns. They're going to continue to keep moving forward in the direction that they want to go, and they won't allow things to kind of move them or persuade them in any kind of way. I think when you're in sideline, meaning you kind of completely gave up, can't win that way. You can't execute that way. So it's all about just continuing to just find ways to get that game plan and score those touchdowns.
This is an amazing lesson from sports, and this relates to that whole next play mentality. It's knowing that not every play or not every minute every day is going to go right. So whether you give up a touchdown, or don't score, or maybe work didn't go great that day, maybe you had a fight with your family member or a friend of yours, maybe you actually made a big mistake today. The best thing to do though is to be like the athlete who, even when they just missed their last 10 shots, or the last play didn't go how they wanted, they believe that the next play is going to be their best play. How do you think someone like Stephen Curry became the best shooter in NBA history? And yes, I know I don't like the Warriors, and something about that team just pisses me off. But hey, game respects game, and real recognize real. So it's because no matter how many shots he misses, he has this unshakable belief in himself through all of his preparation that his very next shot is going in. And this is a tough mindset to establish, but with a ton of preparation and a ton of practice, I believe we can cultivate the same level of unshakable confidence in ourselves. And this is of course something that needs to be worked on constantly. Every time you quote unquote fail, or don't get the desired result, rather than sulking for too long, think to yourself, what next? Next play. How do I stop one bad play from turning into two? Or how do I not allow one bad day to turn into a whole bad week? It's that next play mentality. Moving ahead, I have a powerful clip about how the villain and superhero story is so often exactly the same. The difference though is in what happens next and what that person chooses to do.
Heroes and villains both have the same backstory, pain. The hero says, the world hurt me, I'm not going to let it hurt anyone else. Yeah. And the villain says, the world hurt me, I'm going to hurt everyone else. Heroes use pain, villains are used by it. We are all going to be presented with pain. If we look at all of the villains in the world, they've gone through pain and they've used it to hurt everyone else. Yeah. They've been a victim. But then you look at all of the greatest people in the world have gone through immense amounts of pain. All of the calmest people that you ever see in your life, the reason they're calm is because they've been through so much chaos. They've just chosen to onboard the pain and use it to better themselves and be the hero. It's understanding that when you're presented with pain, you can do whatever you want with it, and it's up to you to choose. Harder in the moment, but when you realize that you get to choose, it's okay, well, let's actually focus on the thing that is really good, not the pain that is going to actually do harm to other people.
Amazing perspective. Now think about it. How many superhero movies have we seen where the villain is I was just like you?
I only wanted to help. And what did you say to me?
It tore me apart.
Talking to the hero. Or maybe they grew up in the same neighborhood, but there was just one thing that was different about them. But so often that one thing is perspective and mindset. It's not that anyone is more special than the other. It's that the hero saw the obstacles and broke past them and then chose to help others along the way, while the villain sees the obstacles and uses them as reasons to create obstacles for others. It's if I can't have it, then nobody can. And it's like me with my own story, healing from a life-threatening illness. I could have every reason to be bitter, mad, or upset at life, but you can ask anyone who sees me on a daily basis. So often they ask me how I'm so positive all the time, or that I'm the nice person they all know. Because I didn't want my circumstances to define me, so I chose and continue to choose my response to these challenges. I choose positive even when negative would obviously be the much easier choice. Of course I still have my days and my moments of frustration, but I don't let them last too long. Or it's how Bane and Batman came from that same place, basically at least, but Batman came from a wealthy family, And Bane, while he had to overcome a lot to get out of his dark place, he used that experience to become bitter and evil.
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
So the hero and the villain is often basically the same story. The choice is in the response to life circumstances, and how you choose to play the cards that life deals you. This past week on the Baseball Diamond, I have to show some love out there to all the old timers who are still doing their thing. So first off, we had Rich Hill last week, who officially made his return for his 21st MLB season at the ripe young age of 45 years old for the Kansas City Royals. And he managed to only give up 1 home run in 5 innings pitched, which is pretty solid, I'd say. And from what I saw, he still has his nasty curveball, and even like his fastball topped out at around 90 miles per hour. This guy, you can tell, just like loves the game though. I mean, to come back every year, no guarantees, having to pitch in the minors in order to work his way back up into the majors. That's what I love to see, because it actually takes a love for the game that's like so pure and can't be taught, so really cool stuff. I mean, at any point he could just call it a career, and of course a super respectable one, but he's not in it for the numbers or any of the external stuff. This is like true intrinsic motivation, I believe. And as he was quoted as saying the other day, it's easy to say that you love it, but when you know you have more to give, it's tough to walk away. So he became the oldest pitcher since Jamie Moyer, who was 49 years old when he pitched in 2012 for the Rockies. And this also leads me into Justin Verlander, who finally got his first win as a member of the San Francisco Giants. Hopefully this is like the start of good things to come for him. And yes, while he hasn't pitched great this year, he has had enough quality solid starts, I think, where it definitely should not have taken this long for him to get his first win of the season. But of course the Giants weren't giving him a ton of run support, so getting to 300 career wins for him might be out of reach, although as I always say, anything is possible. But I'm glad to see that, like, at the very least, his whole horrendous winless streak to start the season finally ended. And also out in Baltimore, Charlie Morton, at the ripe young age of 41 years old, he's actually been pitching great over the past few months. In spite of like having a really rough start to the season, he's been pitching great recently, and it actually looks like he's starting to round into form. And he may even be like a valuable trade piece for the Orioles as the whole trade deadline is quickly approaching. So there's our MLB news from this week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And finally in this week's episode, I want to share a very powerful, inspiring story coming from Chris Brickley, famous NBA trainer who actually used to be homeless. So I'm going to be reading this one. So the first side says, 2018 I had no home. Second side, your hotel kicked me out. Third side, I had too much pride to ask for help. Fourth side, I just extra locked in with my players. Fifth side, if you are currently living through a rough patch, I hope this post can keep your spirits up. After the struggle comes the glow. And this is why I'm always saying that success, especially in unconventional fields, like of course what I'm trying to do, I believe so much of it is simply a war of attrition. Who's going to be the last man or woman standing? Because for every one outlier story of the overnight success, there's millions of others who expect that, but like when it doesn't happen in 3 months or even 5 years, that person gives up.
I quit!
And they think like it's not meant for them. But how can you defeat the person who never gives up and never quits? You can, of course, because every quote-unquote failure is a stepping stone and a reason to push even harder and to lock in more, as Chris Brickley just said. So Chris Brickley was homeless in 2018 with no money. He would have had every excuse and every reason to quit on his dream or to choose the safe path. But what did he choose? He outlasted everyone else who would have given up, having been given those same circumstances. And now, this day, he's well known as being one of the best NBA trainers in the world. And he currently trains LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Klay Thompson, among basically every other NBA superstar out there. So this is just like another reminder that your current circumstances are not final and don't have to be where you end up. You never know when things are just going to take off, but if you believe in what you're doing, at least I know that like I have to see it all the way through. I'm following my dreams and following my intuition, and if that's not telling me to give up, then I won't be doing that. As Chris said in the last slide of that post, after the struggle comes the glow, but how many people quit during the struggle? I think all of us owe it to ourselves to reach our glow up phase. Anyways guys, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts on any of the topics in this video. I will catch you guys next time. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding. Peace.